Hey sis.
Sis, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You know what, sis? I have
Hmm,
something to say.
hmm.
I do notice something different in the background.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yes. So I don't know. I can't remember which episode it was, but I remember it was a time when I had said that there was some things coming up that was causing me to, travel or whatever. And so here we are. I'm temporarily in this area. I'm on East Coast time temporarily, so we are on the same time zone.
Ooh, yay. About time.
I know. I'm still not adjusted. It's like my second week being on this time zone, and
Mm-hmm.
girl, I don't know how you do it, to be honest. Like West Coast time
Girl.
zone, I'm so used to it.
Yes.
I can't.
Oh, just give it a couple more weeks. Just a couple more, then you'll finally be adjusted.
Girl, by the time I get adjusted, I'm gonna be back on the West Coast, okay?
I know. And then you got to readjust to the West Coast.
I don't think I have a problem with that, to be honest.
But we'll see.
Anyways, we have an exciting episode prepared for you guys today.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a little bit different from the form that we usually do, so we're trying something a little bit different as we, get adjusted to podcasting period. So, hope you guys enjoy. So, starting off, I know the last episode that we had filmed it just before Chris Brown's new album release, Brown.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
of course, we could not let our next episode go by without giving our own personal opinions, because being Chris Brown fans, we had to give the album a listen or two.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, so let's start with our thoughts. So, Amia, what are we thinking here?
Okay, so I actually enjoyed the album, and Chris Brown, he always knows how to like create a vibe. And I feel like with this project, it had a good mix of smooth R&B energy, and also like it had a replay value where some of the songs, will be on replay. And so with him, his versatility is honestly to me underrated because he can switch between like different sounds so effortlessly. And so overall, I just think it was a solid album, and I think it's definitely something that I can see myself like keeping it in my rotation on my Apple Music. And
Oh
so
yeah.
that's just my opinion. Like, how about you, sis?
Well, yeah. So with me, whenever I listen to like one of my favorite artists' new albums, I'll
Mm-hmm.
listen to it like once all the way through, just as is. And then I'll listen to it again where I'm like listening to actually the lyrics, what's being said, and seeing
Mm.
if anything is like super catchy to me. And then so this album, I will say I listened to it like a good 4 times. I don't know. It's just
Ooh.
at some point it just became like background music.
Oh yes.
And
Yep.
like in the best way, because it's like I'm like, okay, I want to listen to music while I'm doing this, so now I'm gonna play this album. And every now and then I'll be like, ooh, okay. Like I was trying to figure out like what songs do I like, which ones do I want to skip, but it was
Mhm.
hard because like
Yes.
literally like just from the start of the album I'm just like, oh, he's going in. Like
Yes, he
I was
wasn't
just
playing.
like, yes. Oh my gosh, like top 3 songs. Like let's get into that. So
Oh
for
yeah.
me, I'm gonna share my top three right now. So starting
Okay.
off, "Leave Me Alone." Okay, that was the first song. When I heard that, I was like, okay, okay. Like, I mean, I love how it's called "Leave Me Alone" because in a way, I
Mhm.
feel like it kind of takes from Michael Jackson when
Oh
his song "Leave Me Alone." And like
yes.
even though they don't sound the same, but it's the same vibe because it's
Oh
all
yeah.
in the lyrics. Like of course the melody and all that stuff sounds great, but those lyrics really hit. And I was just like,
Mhm.
okay.
Oh wait, hold up, wait a minute.
Yes. So I was like, I really don't want to be cliche and be like the first song's my favorite, but it really is. It's one of them.
Oh yeah, it was a good song. Yes.
Yeah. The next one of my faves was "Call Your Name,"
Oh.
featuring Sexy Red and Glorilla. I
Yes.
I mean, it's like Sexy Red's part where where she like says her name, and I was just like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
the way she flowed that in, I was like, oh my gosh, I had to replay that a couple of times because I really liked it, and I feel like that was like a perfect mashup with just all three of them. You have
I
Chris,
agree.
Sexy Red and Glover. Like I've never, I don't think I've ever
Heard
heard
them
that.
like together.
Yeah, and
Mm-mm.
that was a great combination. So I was like, okay, yeah, this
Yeah.
definitely has to be one of my faves as well. And then the
Okay.
last one that I like was Hate Me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think yeah, so I mean, those are my three right now. It can change at any
Right
point,
now.
but like just I mean, because it's a lot of songs on the album, so it's like it's kind of hard to just pick
Ooh,
three. But it's just like I didn't want us to be sitting here like literally talking about the whole dang
going.
album, like
Yes.
because this isn't
Yes.
it's a nice little touch on it, but I don't want it like us to be the whole time because we can literally have a whole episode reviewing the whole album. But
Exactly.
but yeah, anyway, so those are my three. What were your three?
Okay, so it was tough because I had to keep, like you said, there was a lot of songs, so I had to keep
Yeah.
listening to see, like, okay, which one is going to be my top three. So for me, my top three from the Brown album are probably, I would say, Fallen, Honey Pack, and
Mm.
Slow Jams. And so
Okay.
with with the first one for Fallen, it to me it had like that emotional old school R&B feel that pulls me in every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a type of like I love old school R&B, like 90s R&B. That's like my type of vibe. So
Mm-hmm.
that song drew me more towards that vibe. And then when I went to the next song, Honey Pack, I was like, "Oh, okay. Honey Pack.
I know.
Okay,
I do like
Mr.
that song too. Yeah.
Yeah, and to me it was just like a whole vibe, and it just makes you like want to ride, late at night, and then just play that song and jam and cruise through the streets.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
so that's my type of vibe too. Like I love late night rides and listening to like any type of music that has that type of vibe that just makes you like it's smooth to me. Like it's like real smooth. And so that was another song. And the last song was Slow Jams because it gives me like that grown, sexy R&B energy without
Mm-hmm.
trying like too hard. And so to me, those songs really match the type of music like I naturally gravitate to, which is like smoothie, vibey, and emotional at the same time. And so,
Yeah, it
but
makes sense.
again, you can't have a wrong choice with his album with the songs on there because they're to me they were all good hits. Like I enjoyed them, but to me, I think Chris Brown he did a good job with how he
Yeah.
did like different type of versatility with his songs on his album.
Yeah. Yeah. He definitely
Yes.
did not disappoint. And
No.
it's such a diverse type
Mm-hmm.
of, just music together all together. It's not they don't all sound the same. They don't
No.
all have like where they're too different to where it doesn't make sense. It flows
Yeah,
very well.
I agree. It definitely
Yeah.
flows very well, and he's just a music genius in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just, it is what it is. And of course, you gonna have love, but you always gonna have some hate, You know what they say, if you
Unfortunately,
ain't doing something right,
you
you ain't
gotta
got
have
haters if
haters.
you ain't doing something right, something like that. But
Exactly.
but yeah, so there has been some mixed reviews with the album.
Hmm.
Um so a lot of people were complaining that it was too long because it has like 27 songs. And I mean, like, okay, let's put it this way because, like, let's say, okay, so in the early 2000s, songs averaged around maybe on albums would be like around 12 to 15 songs,
Hmm.
and remind you, this was before like Spotify,
Yeah.
Pandora, like before streaming platforms came to play,
Yeah.
and so it was in that CD era. And I really
Ooh,
feel like I'm just aging myself. Like no one listens to
girl, who you
CDs anymore.
telling?
Like
Remember,
I
remember we had LimeWire. I don't know if you remember that back in the day, where you could burn songs on it and make your own CD.
I cannot confirm or deny that I ever used LimeWire, but that sounds
Girl.
familiar.
Whew. Yes.
No, but yeah, so back when they used CDs, they only had so
Hmm.
much space on the CD. So it was,
Yeah.
I think, like maybe a 80-minute capacity. And
Yeah.
so it
Ooh.
made sense of why some artists would have like, dual albums because that would be their
Yeah.
way of how they can add more songs to like one album. And I
Mhm.
know some artists that I remember how Nelly had the Sweatsuit album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then you had Outkast with the Speaker Box
Mhm.
/ Love Below. And then you have Jay-Z, The Blueprint 2, The Gift and the Curse. And that's just to
Mhm.
name a few. I'm pretty sure there's more, but that's just what
Oh yeah.
I could think of just right now. But and then around like the mid 2000s, that's when the album songs started to drop to like maybe 10 to 12. And I feel
Mhm.
like that became like the new norm for a minute. And it's just, and over time, it just, people just, our attention span just got less and less. And so people would
Right.
just drop albums and it would be like hardly any songs on there. And it is what it is. But
Right.
when I, when I have a favorite artist, and I have a few, when I have favorite artists, when they drop an album and it has over 20 songs or whatever, I'm happy.
Oh
I love it
yes.
because I feel like when an artist in like a good artist is going to put a lot of their heart and soul into their music. And
Mhm.
a lot of truth is spoken through their artistry. And I feel like that is a way for us to really get to know them, other than them just being a great artist. It's like their creativity and it's like them letting us into their vulnerability in a way. You know what I mean? Like a lot of
I
truth is
agree.
spoken in music. And I mean, just take Beyonce's Lemonade album, okay? Like she gave us some real tea, okay?
Oddity. Whew.
I'm just saying. So, and it's like, and especially for artists that are private, and like
Mhm.
like when you do interviews or whatever, they don't really talk on it, or they're not really on social media like that. But then when you listen to their music, it's like, wait, what did they just say? Like,
Right.
so it's, so in a way it's like we should really appreciate when an artist has quite a bit of songs on there, because artists make songs all the time, like good artists do.
Oh,
And
nonstop.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was not easy for him to choose the songs that he
Mhm.
did for the album, you
Mhm.
know? And so, I mean, if my artist is going to put 5011 songs on the album, I'm going to listen to all 5011 songs and enjoy everything.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, bottom line is, to criticize an album for having too many songs, it just proves that you're unappreciative or you're just not a true fan. Because I don't think
Right.
any breezy fans is really going to have, an issue with it being 27 songs.
I don't think so. And it's not that bad with 27 songs. Like again, with his music, I mean, you could just vibe to it. So it's not like it was terrible.
Right.
So to me, I didn't see the issue with having 27 songs
At all.
at all.
Yeah. And so then some other things like were that it was overproduced or that it was too much auto tune. I didn't
That's
really
Chris
get
Brown.
I didn't get the too much auto tune because that boy can sing. Like, especially
Right. We
just
know he
being,
can sing.
yeah, like the mic is on in the concerts. Like you
Right.
can tell, and he has great stamina too, because he be moving like crazy and still could be holding notes.
Ooh,
So it's like I don't,
exactly.
that part I'm just like, okay, well maybe if there is auto tune on there, possibility, but I mean I don't think it was too much.
I don't think so. It didn't sound like it was a lot. Like I could see if it was a whole lot and you could really, really like hear it,
Mm-hmm.
then yes. But to me, it wasn't bad. He might have used it like a little bit, but it still wasn't bad to a point where, okay, this is too much.
Right, right. And then another one that I'll mention is that people were saying that it was repetitive. And I'm just like,
It's Chris Brown's sound. Like you guys should know that by now. Like he
I
has a certain
mean,
sound.
exactly. Like, I think that's the beauty. Not like I don't find the album repetitive because there's so like just with. I'm trying to think right now because it's been a minute since I listened to the album because I was moving and grooving for a minute, but
Was gonna say with the song "Falling" with Leon Thomas, like that
yeah,
was more like he was trying to make it like old school kind of with that sound. And then you
Yeah.
have a song like with Sexy Red and Glorilla, like more kind of turn up sound. So it was kind of different. It wasn't that repetitive.
Exactly. I'm like, so you mean to tell me the likes of Glorilla and Sexy Red sound just like Leon Thomas and Tank?
No.
Like,
I know and
like,
think like no.
uh-huh. I'm
Come on,
like,
guys.
okay, let's calm down, settle down here. We're doing too much. We're
Yes.
reaching.
Too much. Like I just feel like people were just saying something just to say because it's Chris Brown. But
Hmm.
to me, I feel like all his songs were like they equaled out. It wasn't like the same sound on each song to me.
Right. No, me neither. I didn't think that either.
Yes. And so I could just say what like I think the reactions to his album are honestly exactly like what I expected what people were going to say, which was very divided. And I feel like some people feel like it's classic breezy, like what we're used to listening to, which is like toxic R&B, smooth vocals, and then that vibey late night music, and something you throw on in the car while you're cleaning the house. And so like for
I
the
was
others
cleaning.
who see, and I was driving the car, so so like that to me, like the others who disliked it, I felt like Chris Brown has so much talent that they expect every project to completely like just blow him away. And realistically, I mean, like again, like I mentioned before, he's a musical genius. He knows what to do and he knows what sound works for him. And so whatever works for him, that works for him. And to me, I feel like that's his lane, like the music that he makes.
Yeah.
And so with some people, I know they were saying like on the album, they feel like he has some filler songs, I guess, like just to put on the album that didn't make sense. And they felt like it could have been shorter to make the stronger tracks like stand out more. But to me, those songs still sounded good, so I don't feel like they were filler songs in my opinion. Like I didn't agree with that. To me, I didn't agree. And I just feel like they just hold Chris Brown to like a high standard because of how talented he is and how versatile he is. But they are overlooking the fact that not every album is meant to be like super deep or experimental, but it's meant to just like vibe to. And so overall, I just feel like the album did what it needed to do for the people, and especially for those who enjoy like that late night emotional R&B type of vibe. And
Oh
so
yeah.
that's just my opinion.
No, no, and that's very valid. I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. It is what it is. You gonna have people that love your stuff, and you gonna have the people that hate it, and you gear your stuff
Exactly.
towards the people that love and support you. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. So, and I
Yes.
think he's really good at doing that. If anyone has thick skin in this industry, it is him. And
Oh, yes,
just
most definitely.
focusing on the love, realizing that there is hate, and every now and then just saying what he got to say to stand up for himself. But it's us, the fans, that he's really looking out for, and we appreciate
Oh,
it. So
yeah.
it is what it is.
Good job, Chris Brown. We love your album. Good job.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so now that we got that one done, um so let's see. What are your thoughts on this new Battle of the Bands situation?
Battle of the band. Who's battling?
Girl, let me tell you.
Oh,
Okay,
Lord.
so fresh off the Boys for Life tour.
What?
Yeah, fresh off the Boys for Life tour, and shots have already been taken, girl.
Oh, Lord. Who's taking shots?
Okay, so apparently Fizz from B2k have done. He did
What?
a interview with, girl. Hold on now.
The quiet
He
one?
he did an interview with Cam Newton, and in the interview he was discussing how basically no other no other group at that time, when they
Mhm.
were coming out, there was no other group that had that balance of hip hop and R&B, with him being the rapper and the rest being singers. He said no one was really doing that. Of course, prior to them, he paid homage to New Edition and TLC
Mhm.
and everything. But when Pretty Ricky was brought up in the conversation, he was just like, pump your brakes. No. Like, and so Cam Newton was like, well, you guys are, you know, around the same time frame. And he was just like, nah, they were after us. And so I watched that part of the interview because I was just like, okay, let me see. I don't know if it was jokes because, I was just seeing clips before. And so I was like, is he joking? Is he serious?
Right.
Girl, he was serious. He said that they are not on the same level.
Little Fizz, come on now.
I was just, I mean, I, you gonna have your opinion and it is all about, I just,
Wow.
I'm like, okay. And then you have Pleasure P that's responding saying that he's tripping. I think he has said like he was smoking too much or something. I don't know. And then of course you got Bow chiming in saying that he's gonna host the verses for the culture. And I'm just like,
Oh Lord, of
at this
course.
point, I'm like, I don't know if this is like a money grab or if it's something that he's really like wholeheartedly
Serious.
like he really feels like that's it. And so I'm like, okay, I kind of want to break it down a little bit here of,
Wow.
because it's like, all right, I get it. There are two different boy bands and, obviously
Right.
from different sides. One's West Coast and one's is Florida considered East Coast? Yes, right? Or is it the South?
Yeah. Uh-oh, history lesson right here, y'all.
You know what? I
Um,
never took geography, so I just know on the map you got Florida over here and California over here.
I I was more into math, so
Okay, well, we just gonna say here you have California, you have Florida, and so
yes.
so so anyways, so he's just saying that they're just not on the same vibe. But it's like, okay, like if
Right.
you were in order for a versus to work, I feel like you have to have
Hmm.
some similarities in there to where it kind of like, makes sense. Like take the
Yeah,
Tyrese and Tank versus. That was the most recent one that I watched. They have
it
similar
was. Yeah.
they have similar sound. They're both very different, both very
Yes.
talented, both have
Yes.
some hits,
Yeah.
but there was some where it was like toe to toe. I was like, oh, I love this Tyrese one, but oh my gosh, Tank, like it's like it's so many it's so many different, it's like it's a vibe. And
Right.
and Pretty Ricky and B2K, that they both have good music. They both have
Right.
hits, but I don't know if it's versus type, battles
Mhm.
because I mean, even though B2K is having new music out now, but it's like when you
Yeah.
do verses, you doing those classics. Like
You have to.
you could put a new song in every now and then, but it's like we want to hear the classics.
Yeah, because nobody's not gonna really know the new songs.
Yeah, they can definitely vibe to it and have a good time. And it's like, okay, let me add
Right.
that to my playlist and I'll listen to it later. But when I'm coming, I want to hear the dang classics. I want to hear
Exactly.
I want the nostalgia. You know what I mean? And
Yes,
so
exactly.
I don't really feel like they have because listen, okay, if we're gonna be real here, let me see. Let me go to my notes real quick because I need to make sure that I got this right. Okay. So with B2K, you have three singers and one rapper. With Pretty Ricky,
Mhm.
you have, I guess, one singer and three rappers. I know on the tour it was only three of them for obvious reasons. I think Slickums is having some trouble, and I don't really know too
Yes,
much about that, so I'm just gonna let that sensitive subject be on its own. But
it's
that's just
okay.
the core of it. Yeah. Prayers up to him.
Yeah,
Hopefully, everything goes right.
everything's okay. Yes.
Yeah. So in a way, you have both bands that have a good blend of hip hop and R&B. But when it boils down to it, you have B2K had that young love slash innocent vibe type of music. Like,
Yes,
with
like puppy love.
yeah, like yeah, and then you have Pretty Ricky.
Ooh, late night.
Who okay, okay, and it's like it just doesn't it wouldn't compare because it really just depends on the vibe that you're going for. You know what I mean? Like both great artists, great songs, but it's like if I'm in that vibe where I'm like, okay, I want to listen to something like, like a little bit on the innocent side, or I want to listen to something like, like a little light. It's like, okay, let me hit that B2K real quick and be like, all right, we gonna dance, we gonna rock this out. And
Right.
then But if I'm like, okay, I'm in a different vibe, then it's like, Pretty Ricky's gonna be the one that I'm gonna be listening to. But it's kind of hard to go hit for hit because it's just like
It's different sounds.
it really is different sounds. It's different
So,
styles. It just doesn't make sense. And I don't
eh,
know, man. I just
girl, I I just honestly feel like from the tour that they just had, it reminded everybody like how important both B2K and Pretty Ricky were in the early like 2000s era. And so I guess I don't know if this could have sparked from once when people start like seeing the clips again online, like they were starting to compare the two groups. I don't know if that could have stemmed from there. And so again, like you said with B2K, like they bring like more of that young love vibe. So with and of course they dance. So they brought that
yeah.
too along with it. And so comparing them with Pretty Ricky, like Pretty Ricky had like more of that smooth talk to R&B kind of sound. And so I know most people still know it from word to word. And so basically with that, I guess it could have sparked a debate on which group had the bigger impact, but it's just hard because you got a group that was more like you said, cater more to the innocent young vibes, and then they were like dancers. Where compared to Pretty Ricky, or more catered to like, hey, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, late night phone calls, like stuff like that. And yes, they dance, but their dance was a different type of dancing. So it's like, how can you compare those two?
It's like
Like,
apples and oranges of
right,
like I mean like I'm not trying to say that one is better than the other because I like both of them, you know?
right, me too.
Both of them is like I must say that at the time when Pretty Ricky when they got famous and everything, I had
Mm-hmm.
no business singing those lyrics.
Girl, me too. I felt like my ears were like weren't
But
supposed
I
to
was
hear that
singing them though
music.
word for
Me too.
word.
Exactly. Like, I mean, it just we had no business listening to it, but we love their music.
Yeah. I mean, music is music at the end of the day. Like you're either gonna vibe to it or
Exactly.
you're not. And
Exactly.
but I just don't feel like a versus between them two would actually be, you know, I don't know,
Yeah.
because it's just I mean, if we gonna go versus, then I mean it kind of would be difficult, but it like another group that I think would go versus with B2K would be probably B5.
Yes. They can go,
Like,
yes, because
yeah,
since they both started young.
just
Yeah.
because they're both kind of on that same like R&B hip hop level, like both have majority singers in the group with one rapper,
Right.
and both of their music was at the beginning was, more of that innocent type of level. But of course
It's
now
yes.
with B5's new music, obviously
It's like that
it's
grown and
grown.
sexy.
Okay, yes, and I'm all for it.
So
But I'm just saying, like, I would put them probably toe to toe because they're kind of on that same level, I would say. But it's just
yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Vibe
obviously
wise,
I
yes.
yeah, vibe wise,
Vibe
yes.
wise.
But it's just I'm not getting the Pretty Ricky versus B2K vibe. I'm not.
Me either. I just can't see it. Like honestly, so just say if they were to have a versus battle, like who would you choose?
That's the thing. It really depends on the vibe. Like, I mean, sometimes I'm feeling bump, bump, bump. Sometimes I'm feeling like 5 in the morning. Like,
Grind
I
with
don't.
me. Oh yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Like, I
It's hard.
mean,
Like
it's hard.
uh, I don't know. Like I honestly, I can't choose because like you said, it just all depends on the vibe I'm going for. Like it's hard. Like I'm just gonna be jamming to both of them, honestly. I'll just
Yeah.
jam to both of them. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
vote.
Yeah. At this point, it's just like I'm at, the Boys for Life Part 2 tour right now. Like,
Exactly.
we just gonna jam this out to the end. Like, don't let me be a judge, okay? I'm just, ooh,
Girl,
child.
no. No. I'll give them both the point because they both deserve it. I mean, they both had an impact in the early
Mm-hmm.
2000s. So I feel
Yeah.
like there's no battle needed, in my opinion. That's how
Yeah.
I
Whether
feel.
one came before the other or after, they both made an imprint that is
Yes.
timeless. That's gonna always last. So, I mean, I get it. It could be just a little light banter or whatever, but it's just Um, I don't think
Mm,
I don't think that one is better than the other, and I don't think
no,
that the whole them not on the same level or having a verse whatever. I just yeah
I don't
no
agree with that. I'm sorry,
yeah
Fizz, but yeah, I don't agree with that because you guys are both on your own type of levels, and you guys both deserve flowers
yeah
because you guys are just amazing, like groups.
yeah
So I don't feel like you guys need to battle it out.
yeah, and I
Like,
just don't. I mean, I find that kind of weird of how like y'all were just on tour together, like
right,
bros, like boys for like literally, you know. And it's like
right.
y'all did a whole tour for a couple of months together, and then now afterwards you like, nah,
What
they
happened?
not on our level. I'm just like, and then it's like, and it's that whole like they the homies, but they not on our level. It's like that's a backwards compliment, ain't
That's a shot. You're taking a shot at him. Like you can't just
it?
say we're homies, then you take a shot at
Bang
me.
bang, like.
Like what? No,
What?
you
That's
got to
like
choose
me.
one.
Like that's like me saying like you my girl and everything, but this like what? No,
Oh,
this is no. It
there's
just
no but. No.
yeah, no. So
Yeah, yeah, guys,
it's
leave it alone, please. I hope you guys reconsider and just leave it alone. Let you guys both, continue to do tours if you guys do tours in the future together. But no,
mm-hmm.
don't don't do a battle, please. Don't.
Yeah. Nah, keep it cute or keep it
Yes, keep it
handsome,
cute
whatever
or
y'all want to call it.
handsome. Yes.
But yeah, for now we just gonna let that we just gonna
Simmer.
let that battle marinate. Yeah, and we'll circle back at a later date if anything comes more of it. But
Yes,
let's
yes.
switch gears a little bit here. Another topic I wanted to bring up is the whole 50-50 ordeal in a relationship.
Oh.
I know that that is something that, a lot of
Mhm.
people modern days struggle with. And it's been a quite debate for a while. And
Yes,
it's just,
yes.
it's a strong concern in a relationship of whether you go 50-50 with everything
Mhm.
or whether one person takes care of everything. And
Mhm.
so I want us to share our thoughts. And so it's like I'll let you start. Like where do you stand on that matter?
So honestly, I just think relationships should be balanced and not necessarily like calculated with numbers. Like real life is unpredictable. You don't know what can happen. Like in my case, like my husband, when we first met and everything, we did everything balanced. But once when he started to get very ill, like everything shifted to where I had to take more of doing more in a relationship than he could because he wasn't able to. And so even though it wasn't 50-50, we still made it work because regardless, like we made that relationship work with me still being able to take care of him and what he can do like on what he was able to do. Like I feel like that works. And I just feel like people go through like seasons where one person may carry more than the other person. And so I don't think like love should feel like a constant scoreboard with like the 50-50 and all that. As long as you and your partner work together and have that balance, I feel like that's what makes it work. I feel like you don't have to just have it like 50-50, like label it as 50-50. That's just in my how what I think. Like
Yeah.
how about you?
Yeah, and I totally agree because at the end of the day it's a partnership.
Right.
And so because when me and my husband when we were dating, it
Mm.
was he was just very chivalrous and so he would always like pick up the bill and everything and all that stuff, but I
Right.
never
Right.
expected that front of him. And
Right.
I mean it was nice, but I didn't go in thinking like, okay, you're going to do everything and I'm just going to sit there and be
Right.
cute. So
Right.
and then when we got married, of course, like, we both had jobs. So
Mhm.
we both took care of our portions of the bills. And like, I'm sorry, but when you're living in California, you, unless you
Woo.
were from money or you have like, a lot going for
Exactly.
you, okay,
It's
but
tough.
everyone works together. I grew up
Yes.
with my parents working together. My
Mhm.
one may have made more than the other, but they
Mhm.
both contributed to the bills equally. And
Right.
so that's how I was raised and that's what I portray. And I don't find anything wrong with that, to be honest, because
No.
I feel like that'd be kind of messed up. Like I'm coming into, I'm
Right.
like, I'm trying to I'm trying to be with my equal. I'm not trying to be with a parent
Right.
because at the end of the day, parents are the ones that take care of you. So it's like, are you trying to be with a parent or are you trying to be on, your grown individual business and
Right.
be responsible for, yourself? I don't really understand the whole like, just not wanting to pay your share type thing. Like that's weird.
Me Me either, and I like to piggyback off of that too because like even like with me too, like I always felt like a guy said he's gonna take care of it and doesn't want you to take care of it, and you guys had that understanding. That's fine because like you mentioned, like I was not used to that either. When I like my late husband would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna pay for this and stuff," because I'm used to like, "Oh, I'll pay like 50 or something
Yeah.
like that, or like half of like whatever." I guess they feel obligated to be in that 50-50 where one person does one thing, another person does one thing. But to me, sometimes that doesn't work because just say if something were to happen to that person, then that other person was so dependent on one person where they wouldn't know what to do because it's like I'm so used to being dependent on that
Yeah.
person. Now it's like that 50-50 is gone. Now it's just
Mm-hmm.
50.
Yeah. At the
It.
beginning of our marriage, like, um, well, I want to say it was prior to us getting married, like maybe a
Mhm.
few years prior. We were, that's a whole other show of like our relationship, how it started, all that
Yes.
stuff. But prior to us getting married, my husband was in a bad
Mhm.
car accident and he was a workaholic. Okay, that man
Mhm.
had job spawn. Okay,
Yeah. Yes.
like there was not a time that I can remember of him not working. So, but when he was in a bad car accident, it made
Mhm.
it really hard for him to
Mhm.
work. And mind you, when I said we both were working, so at some point he had to take a step back because he had to have surgery. It was really bad.
Yeah.
And so at that time, then that's when I became more prevalent in that situation. But I never really looked at it as like, oh, I'm the breadwinner. Oh, I'm the over here. I didn't have like a big S on my chest or anything. I just took care of business and everything, helped him the best I could. And, of course, he had to do the work too, and he did. And he was able to
Mhm.
bounce back from it. But it's like, we both just did what we need to do. And that's just what you do in a relationship, period. You do what needs to be
Yep.
done. You don't sit there and
Exactly.
complain like, "Oh, I'm mad because like I gotta do all this." But like, no, just get it
Mhm.
done. And
Exactly.
because it's like all the time you're wasting complaining, you could have just handled business.
Right. And that's the thing, like, because again, like with my husband getting sick and not able to work anymore, like, I know some guys, they're so like manhood and they feel like
Yeah,
they gotta be able to
macho.
provide. Exactly. But sometimes you guys gotta like take a seat back and let your partner like handle it. Because that's the whole thing about relationships. You guys have to work together. You can't just expect like you to be the breadwinner and not let, your partner help out
Mm-hmm.
because that's what your partner is here for. We're supposed to be equally yoked and we're supposed to help each other out at the end of the day. And so that's just one thing like I feel a lot of I'm not trying to talk bad on any guy, but I'm just saying like you guys
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to put that manhood down sometimes and let your partner just help you out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because you both have to be able to rely on each other. And
Right.
I get the whole macho situation. You want to be like, I'm him. And then
Yeah.
but like you gotta cool it with that because at the end of the
Right.
day, like, cuz I mean, if I got to bring out my softer side and everything, which, cuz
Mhm.
listen, I can go toe to toe. Okay, I can I
Ooh,
I
I
have a little
know.
I got a little sassy mouth on me. Okay, but I'd be like,
Ooh.
let me tame it down a little bit. So if I
Soft
can do
girl
that,
time.
yes, if I can do that, then I'm pretty sure that that manliness can okay, like all right,
Simmer
we can
down.
work together. That's all. Like
Yes.
we're in modern times now, and I feel like that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
People just have to
Like,
learn.
right. And you just got to understand, like, if you have somebody who's willing to, like, hold things down through the tough times for you,
Mhm.
just let them do that for you. Like, stop focusing so much on, like, trying to be the breadwinner and bringing in that money.
Yeah.
Like, when you focus too much on that, you forget about, like, the peace, the consistency, and the emotional, like, safety And so you just have to bring that type of wall down and just
Yeah.
focus more on like what somebody can bring to the table for you instead of just what you can bring to the table only.
When it comes to bringing stuff to the table, like, um, it's
Mhm.
more than just looks. I want to say,
Yes.
on both parts, but like speaking from just the feminine side, like I know that a lot of
Mhm.
women, they feel like, okay, well, I'm there. I mean, some are just really happy being a trophy wife, and it's like, power to you, sis. But
Yeah, power to you. Yeah.
but it's like what I bring to the table personally, what I bring or what I brought to the table,
Mhm.
girl. No, but what I bring to the table is, I bring what I allow. So
Yeah,
if I'm not going to bring disrespect because I don't want disrespect. So it's like treat
exactly.
others how you want to be treated. You know what I mean? And that
Right.
goes really far. We were taught that as kids, and it works well into
Mhm.
adulthood very nicely. It aged nicely.
Oh,
And so
yes.
it's like I bring fairness, I bring respect, I bring my softness with
Mhm.
a little bit of sass. I bring my authentic self, and that's the inner me that is brought to the table,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, looks fade, but that inner
Yeah,
beauty, that inner beauty it's timeless. It's
exactly.
ageless. It lasts forever, and that's what you want to continue on in your relationship versus like, oh, well, you were pretty back in your day, and like, ooh, what happened? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, cuz not a lot of people just I mean, yes, like you said, looks, everything. Like some people just focus more on their looks, but again, like you mentioned, it does fade away. So once when that fade away, what else can you bring?
mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
gotta think
body can
about
only be
that.
tea for so long.
Exactly, because we get older.
Yes, we get older, our bodies change. And I mean, of course, you can work out and all
Yes.
that stuff, but that's a whole other thing. But
Still.
I'm just saying, like, you really have to bring mentally to the table of
Mhm.
things versus just physical.
Oh yes, you have to.
Yeah.
And so, like, with on top of that, I guess to me, I'm just on that side of like being partnership. And so I don't want to feel like I'm doing everything alone. And I'm okay to say that. Like, you know, like when we talked about earlier in our other episode about independence, I'm
Hmm.
okay with having somebody there to like help me out. I don't expect anybody just to carry one thing or everything. And I just think that both people should genuinely just want to show up for each other, like in whatever way they can, because you just gotta like be there for each other and you just gotta help each other out. You want that partnership. You don't want to just be like too independent, or you just don't want to be like that main
Yeah.
breadwinner and
Yeah.
macho person.
Yeah. That you should manage your dominance in the relationship. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
even it out. Like, it's okay to be head honcho every now and then, but you got to take turns of
Hmm.
taking point, because sometimes
Yeah.
there's one person might have a strength in something that you're a little weak in, and
Right.
you can learn and grow from that, and vice versa. So that's the whole beauty of the
Right.
partnership. You're mending together. You're not, two force fields of just like independence coming together. Like, it won't work. You have to, you give a little and you take a little, like, and you have to figure out what balance works for you in the relationship, and that's how you continue on. And I feel like with many people, and just many women in general, of expecting the man to do everything, that's a lot of pressure to put on a man. you know I
Yes.
know that there's a lot that they can take, and their minds work a little bit differently than ours, but
Mhm.
stress is stress. And just like you were given something, it can easily be taken away. And then what happens when he goes from being all the way up here, and then now he loses stuff for whatever reason, and now he's down here. And so now what are you going to do? Like, this is your time to shine. Like, okay, let me jump in. Are you going to be that go getter? Are you going to be that one that's, going to hold him down? Or are you going to be the one that's like, well, you don't really have what you used to have. I'm gonna bow gracefully. Like, no,
Right. No,
you're
no.
you're gonna, like, that's when the 50-50 is gonna really kick in. Like,
Right, right.
but if you establish that first, then you don't have to worry about things like that happening. You'll just get right into gear and know what you need to do, versus having to just figure it out if it ever happens. Like, you don't want to be at that point.
Right. No, you don't.
that's our take on that. So, real talk, no filter. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So, I know we've stated our opinions and everything, but now it's time for us to get a little more unfiltered here. Would you
Yes.
stay if now, like, let's say you in a relationship and whatever happens happens, would you stay if your partner couldn't contribute equally anymore? And part two, do women actually want 50-50, or do they just want help?
So for the first one, honestly, I feel like relationships do go through seasons. You know, sometimes one person might be giving like 80 while the other person can only give 20, like how we said earlier with our situations. And then later on it can switch. And so I don't think like real love is sitting there like calculating every little thing like a business transaction because life happens. Like people get mentally drained, and then people lose jobs, people go through grief, depression, pregnancy, stress, etc. And if you keep like score of the whole relationship, then it's to me it just starts to feel more like a survival than partnership. So what do you think, sis?
Well, I agree with it depending on the situation. Like, I mean, listen, if my husband were to say that he's like, I'm done contributing
Mm-hmm.
and then wanted me to do everything, then I feel we would definitely have some words, because that's not fair. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
Mm-hmm.
more of so of things that happen out of your control, that's where it's like, okay, it is what it is. But like if
Right.
it's a temporary situation, like how I mentioned earlier, how when he got into that car accident and how we worked together to build back what we have, actively putting in effort, then that's when you can't really judge on that,
Right.
because you're working together. But if someone blatantly just is like, I don't want to do this anymore, then that's when it's like, all right, like you're not even
Right.
bringing 10% at this point. Like
At this point,
you
no.
just gonna just be there.
You're not
So
bringing nothing.
so yeah, it just depends on just the situation of like,
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't just straight out just leave. Like it just depends on the situation of like what's going on. And if you just decide to put in zero
Mhm.
effort, then it's like, all right, we're gonna have to communicate this, go to some therapy or something. But
Yes.
but if it's something that happens like out of our control, then it is what it is, and that's not something to really leave someone over, in my opinion.
No. No, because especially when you're married and you do to death do us part through sickness and health, you said those vows for a reason. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you should take seriously because if you really love that person, that's something that you would honor. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind.
Facts, y'all.
Yes. Now, when it comes to like if women actually want like 50-50 or just help, I honestly just think like a lot of women like don't necessarily want the 50-50 down the middle in every single thing. I just think that they do want the partnership, the support, the consistency, and just not to feel like everything is falling on them alone. And so let's just be real. Like a lot of women already feel like they are carrying the mental load, the emotional load, sometimes the kids, the house, and also working too. So when people say like 50-50, I think women hear more pressure or like carry more pressure as well. And so I think most women just want to feel like safe enough to soften sometimes instead of always being in survival mode. And unfortunately, like that's how a lot of women do feel like they're in survival mode because they got to juggle all those things. And so it would just be nice, like, if their partner can understand that and work together with them instead of working against them. Like, how do you feel? Like, do you agree with that?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I feel like nowadays in, modern times, from what I
Mm-hmm.
see, women, they they want to be taken care of, or at least that's what is
Yeah.
promoted on social
Yeah.
media. You have like, I mean, I get it. Like, I don't want to be cliche and be like, it's in the music, it's what these women are saying and everything. It's like, because
Right.
honestly, we're adults. If we're listening to music, we should be able to factor what is reality and what is
Hmm.
fake. And we should be
Yes.
able to make our own decisions of what we want for ourselves and not bank off of what
Hmm.
someone else is saying, especially if they're rapping one thing and then actually doing another, but to each his own.
Yeah.
But just, like, wanting a man with a lot of money and being able
Oh
to buy whatever you want and so on, that's fantasy and whatever. But I mean, I feel like the successful relationships where that does happen,
yeah.
that it's not probably promoted or it's probably not talked about enough, but best believe that woman has put in work to get to where she is.
Oh
She
yes.
didn't just show up and is like, I get all of this stuff. Like, she obviously was, a real one, and now her
Hmm.
man wants to spoil her. And I think with
Oh
people
yeah.
seeing that, like, only, and they're not knowing the background, they feel like, oh, that's what I want too. And it's just like, yeah, well, you still have to
Hmm.
put in that work too. It's not just going to be handed to you on a silver platter.
No.
So I would say just, realistically with 50-50, I feel like it builds character in my opinion. It allows you to not take more things for granted. It shows you how to be wise with your decisions because, listen, okay, using other people's money is so easy. Like, you just feel like that wallet just never ends, okay? But the
Right.
minute the minute you using your own money to buy something, you're like, oh wait, hold up. Do I really need
Like
this?
exactly.
Like it makes you think more, and especially when you have responsibilities too, you're like, okay, like when I moved out of my parents' house and I had to start paying like bills.
Ooh.
Like them Amazon purchases was getting less and fewer in between, because I'm like, listen,
Yes.
it's like, do I want the lights to stay on or do I want to have, this cool kitchen gadget, like, like it's
Wise
priorities, people.
decision.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so, I mean, it's just, it puts things into perspective, and it just really makes you
Hmm.
think, and it makes you think twice of, what you should or shouldn't do. And I feel like just having that type of partnership with one another earlier on, it can really set the tone for a success leader.
Oh yes, I agree with that. And so I just feel like picking back off what you said, like basically I feel like a lot of the root to a lot of like relationships too that are kind of downfall is the money
Yeah.
situation, because so many
Yeah.
people do put that before the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so just remember, sometimes the money is not good.
Mm-mm.
Just keep that in mind. I just want to say that, like,
Yeah.
the money, they say money is the root to all evil.
Yeah, it's
But
it's nice
yeah,
to
that's
have money, I do have an
yes.
expensive lifestyle at some times, so
Same,
I
same.
do appreciate having the funds to do so, but at the same time, it shouldn't be what you ground yourself on.
Fo- Yes, I agree. I agree with that. And
Mm.
so, ooh, girl, I know we cover like quite a bit in this episode. And so, from our opinions, from the Brown album to the Battle of the Bands with Pretty Ricky versus B2k beef, and then to the 50-50 in a relationship controversy, take from this episode what you will and share your thoughts on either subject in the comments below. And we do look forward to hearing what you guys have to say, because this is an interesting, like, different three topics. And so we would just like to hear, like, what you guys got to say about each of them.
And for sure, because we definitely want to hear like whatever part of the show that you guys want to talk about, whether it's about the album, about the battle of the bands beef, or the 50-50. Like, we want to know, like, any part, just share your opinion, because that will
Mm-hmm.
help this channel grow, obviously, of engaging, and allows us to know what we should talk about more, what we should talk about less, and just allows us to really build this community that we're trying to build. So if you're
Oh,
watching this
yes.
on YouTube, we want to hear from you in the comments. Just let us know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, ring the bell so you never miss an episode of Sister Talks.
Yes, and for our sisters who are listening, we do want to thank you guys for letting us be a part of your routine today. And make sure you follow our show and leave us a review, hopefully 5 stars, especially if this topic did, or these topics did resonate with you guys. Okay. And
Okay.
so until next time, sis, I will talk to you later, and I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
Bye.